Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So I think we're all in agreement, right, that time, well, this year or the past 2 years have gone so fast. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, what is going on with my hair? I have never filmed one of these videos before, but I thought that this year was a really good year to film one of these videos. As you can tell from the title, I'm basically going to be sharing 23 things that I have learnt as a 23-year-old. When I post this video, I will be turning 24 in about a month's time. If I had to summarize this year, for me, it has been a year of growth. It's just been such a transformative year for me. I've come so far, and yeah, that is my one word summary. At the end of this video, I will talk to you a bit about what I'm looking forward to as a 24-year-old. It doesn't really matter that I'm like 24 and not 23, but I will tell you what I am kind of anticipating, I suppose you could say, in the next year of my life. But anyway, let's stop waffling. I have them noted on my phone and we're just gonna go through them, and yeah, I'm gonna hopefully take you guys on a little journey over this past year, and I hope you enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up if you do. So the first one is very much related to what I've just said about growth and stuff. To me, I feel like this year I have learnt that growing up doesn't mean growing older, it simply means growing. I know a lot of us fear this idea of growing older. It's just a huge contrast to when you have birthdays as a child and a teen, but I've realized over this past year that it's not about growing older. It's just about like maturing and learning more about like yourself and the world. That is what growing up is all about. It's not about growing older, it's about simply growing. Number 2 is something I have learned very recently, but it is basically that it is possible for something to be one of the most amazing things I've ever done and at the same time be one of the hardest things I've ever done. Feel free to pause the video and comment down below what I'm going to say before I actually say it, but yes, one of the hardest things but one of the best things I've ever done was without a doubt the London Marathon. I cannot tell you how amazing and incredible that day was, but at the same time, as I said, it was literally so hard. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and I experienced excruciating pain at certain points, but you know, I proved to myself that my body is fully capable. My brain was literally a washing machine of emotions on that day. It has spurred me on to want to do more marathons in the future and races and stuff, but something about the London Marathon this year on the 3rd of October will always be very special to me because it was my first marathon. If you are thinking about doing a marathon, sign up like right now, you will never regret it. Number 3 is basically something that's really quite shocking that I've only just learnt this at 23, but apparently we only have 10 toenails in total. Yeah, I genuinely thought we had 20. I don't know what was going through my mind. Basically, in a video when I was talking about my toenail that I lost when training for the marathon, I made a reference to the fact that I was only going to have 19 toenails left as a result. I'm going to only have 19. I literally didn't sign up to run the marathon and lose my toenail. And then I edited the video and I didn't even pick up on that. I genuinely thought we had 20 toenails. We live and we learn. You learn new things every day. Yeah, we're going to move on. I'm just so glad that I know that now, to be honest with you. Number 4 is related to my hair. Essentially, the Holly bun, the one and only Holly bun, is not immortal. We have conquered the Holly bun, not in a bad way necessarily, but we needed to switch things up. And so number 5 is basically that I have learned this year that my hair is essentially curly. This is not a very good representation of my hair. I am still in shock at this. Like, I never thought I would see a transformation like this. I'm only in the very early days of my curly girl journey, and it is going to be a long-term thing. For those of you guys asking, I am going to keep trying to do it like every week. I'm going to get into this routine. I haven't yet tried like resetting the curls in the morning where you kind of wet it and then you apply gel to kind of tame the frizz. I perhaps should have done that today for this video, but genuinely I just cannot tell you how nice it is to go out with my hair down. Like, I have not been out with my hair down in such a long time because I've been so anxious of my frizz. It is very new to me, but I'm actually loving it. We're now going to take a turn and we're going to move away from talking about my hair. I'm not going to give you any context. I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to give you the details as to where this has come from and where I learnt it, but I'm sure you guys can take something away from it regardless. I learnt this year, and I had to learn the hard way, sadly, that some things are, yes, too good to be true. I would say, first of all, definitely listen to the advice of others and see if they feel the same way. And secondly, if you deep down think it's too good to be true, it's probably a red flag. And what I would say to you is get yourself out of that situation as soon as possible. Move on. In this video, we're just going to take a lot of sharp corners, okay? I'm also staring at this bit of hair that's annoying me. I this year have learnt that I freaking love nut butter, and I didn't used to love it in the past. I'm hooked. I'm genuinely hooked. A day without eating nut butter is just never going to be as good as one where I eat the stuff. I also feel like I just need to go downstairs and get you something to talk about. One that I recently tried, like cashew butter. This is cashew butter from Aldi. I feel like it's new because we haven't seen it before. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I have tried it recently, so I thought I would give you a review. It is very, very smooth. Personally, I don't really like nuts in their whole form. I like Brazil nuts. They're like my favorite probably. Or pecans and walnuts, but nut butter on the other hand is just insanely good. I'm finishing this one off, so I am going to go in with the spoon a few times. As I said, this one's not my favorite, but it's still good. Like, my day has just been enhanced instantly. If you have any nut butters that I should try, please tell me down below. It's a little small request. I'm thanking the earth right now for making stuff like this. Oh, somebody's here. Now we're gonna go through some that are quite quick fire. So number 8 is basically that fake nails are not for me. I won't be trying that again. I've tried it now and it's just not me. Number 9 is that I've learnt to love jewelry again, or I don't even think I've ever loved jewelry. Like, I used to wear jewelry occasionally growing up, but it's not something I've worn kind of like consistently or every day. I just feel like it can add just a little spice and a little something extra to your outfit or to like your ears, and I genuinely love it. Very much related to that, number 10 is that I've learnt that taking the time and putting in a bit of effort to choose an outfit, actually choose, you know, something nice to wear instead of just putting on clothes that I wear every day, to do my hair, to brush up my brows, maybe put a bit of makeup on and some jewelry in, you know. Taking that time is actually really fun. And I'm not saying you should do this every day, but I just feel like it is fun, and I never used to find that fun in the past. Spice things up a bit, to take some nice pictures, you know, just for yourself, like not for anyone else. The 11th thing I learned this year is that Diet Coke has caffeine in it, and it is not a great decision to drink it just before I'm gonna go to bed. I feel like this is something I haven't learned. I feel like I knew that before, but it just hit me like a brick wall this year. So yeah, if that is new to you, I'm changing my hair, sorry, I would just recommend not drinking it anywhere near your bedtime because you will not sleep. Number 12 is on the kind of like studying front. So obviously this year, a big part of my year has been taken up with and consumed by my masters and stuff, and it has been so fun. But this year has been a year where I've learnt that studying and just living are not mutually exclusive. I found a really nice balance, like a healthier balance. Don't get me wrong, I still worked so hard. I was on that study grind and I was in my study zone for the whole year essentially, but I did manage to find a much healthier balance between studying and just like living my life. Number 13 is basically that buying secondhand clothes is game-changing. I had this like mental block when it came to purchasing stuff that was secondhand or used, and I feel like that's just because I've grown up buying and wearing clothes that are brand new, when you don't need to do that. Like, you find stuff that is like unique and you get really good prices and you're not contributing to like fast fashion, you know. It's so much better for the planet. When I go on Depop, say for example, to look for something, it's not as if I'm just scrolling as you would do like when browsing a shop, and that means you're more likely to buy stuff you don't need. I am actively searching for something that I want. Like at the moment I'm looking for Chuck 70s Converse, basically high tops in black. Definitely try like Depop. There's like Vinted as well, and there's like eBay obviously, and thrift stores in person. Going back to the whole like caffeine thing, I've realised as well this year that I don't actually dislike the taste of coffee. I before didn't like it, whereas now I actually think it's quite nice. Like, I'll drink it happily, and I feel like it is an acquired taste. I'm not going to be one to drink coffee very regularly at all, but if I do fancy a coffee and I want to have one, I feel like I will get one and enjoy it. This next one is actually quite deep, and it's something I could talk about in like a whole separate video, but I am going to touch upon it here because it is something I have learned, and it is still something I am learning. It's to do with like YouTube and stuff, essentially, that, you know, views or likes or comments and stuff like that, they don't define your worth and your relevance online, sort of thing. I obviously started this channel when I went to Cambridge, and I've kind of like built my brand, as it were, around studying, student life, productivity, learning, you know, all of that stuff. For the majority of this year, yes, I have been a student, and so it's very on brand, we could say. But you know, this year for me, I've seen like the biggest fluctuations, we could say, in the views on my channel. You know, some videos have performed, quote unquote, very well, others not so much. And even though, you know, I've never focused on numbers, it's very hard not to let that get you down and to not let that affect you. I am at a point in my life when I'm no longer a student. I'm no longer studying as a student. I'm moving away from that. Like, I'm not moving into something entirely different, but like, I'm growing, and so things are changing and having to change, and I cannot tell you how scary that is. You know, it is so scary because, as I said, my brand has been built around this concept of student life and studying, so it's a whole new chapter for me. But, you know, I'm really learning now that it does not matter about the views. Like, if I enjoy making the content, and if one person can resonate with me or relate to something I've said in a video, that's all that matters to me, and that is all that should matter. I love what I do. I love sharing stuff online, and if I'm proud of something, then that should be it. YouTube, yes, does like to keep you in these little confined boxes, and so when you start to branch out and try new things, it can be really difficult. And for me, yes, I've built up an audience who followed me originally for that content, so a lot of my followers and subscribers now perhaps don't watch my videos anymore, or they're inactive, or they don't resonate or click with that anymore, which is fine. But, you know, I just have to, and I am accepting that I'm moving on. I'm stepping into a whole new chapter in my life, and so my online brand and presence will just follow that. The 16th thing I wanted to talk about is that, you know, you don't have to be part of a friend group. I have spoken quite a lot about like me being an introvert and my social life and friendships on this channel. This really is the story of my life, my social life. Really, growing up, I've always felt like an outsider. I've never felt as if I fit in. I've always struggled to be part of a group, and again, that's something I've always beaten myself up about, because I'm like, why don't I fit in? Like, why don't people want to be friends with me? Is there something wrong with me? But, you know, for so long I've focused on wanting to be part of something, and now I've just taken a step back and I've been like, you know, you don't have to be a part of something. Why are you trying to be a part of something when you're okay on your own? I do love my own company, I love my family, and I have a very small handful of close friends, and that's okay. Kind of related to that, but kind of a side note, you know, I have met so many people and I've made so many connections over the past few years, and just because you don't talk to someone every single day, it doesn't mean to say that those bridges have been broken. Like, you can still reach out to people and you can still connect, and it's something I should do more of, really. But I often convince myself that if I haven't spoken to someone, that they must hate me, when that's not true. I'm actually making note of the numbers. We're on number 17 because I always screw up the numbers when I film these types of videos. But basically, number 17 is all to do with injuries, okay? Injuries take a lot of patience and they need rest, most importantly. They're never gonna heal overnight. I talked a lot about this in my last video, all to do with like fitness and how my mindset has changed and my new goals. But most importantly, I've just learned to be patient with injuries. The next three are all to do with kind of like my mental health or my past struggles with mental health. The first of the three then is basically that recovering and choosing to recover from, you know, my struggles with food and amenorrhea and everything to do with that has been one of the best decisions and the best things to ever happen to me. I always thought that I would never get over it, and I always thought I would live that way, and I was almost happy thinking that I would live the rest of my life in that headspace. But, you know, it has made me happier than I ever have been, and I never saw that coming. The second thing relates to that, and I feel like we're on number 19. Yes, I've learnt to appreciate that my body, you know, your body will change throughout the day, throughout the month, and those natural fluctuations are normal. We can include in this bloating. You know, bloating is normal. It is normal to feel full after a meal. It's not normal to always have a flat stomach. And the third one, so number 20, is all to do with angles. You are gonna look different from different angles, right? Right? Did you know that? Well, you know now. So if you go to a fitting room one day and you see yourself from different angles, or if someone takes a picture of you and you see yourself from a slightly different angle, you know, that is just you from one angle. Like in the past, say if someone took a picture of me and I didn't like the photo, or I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's such a bad angle, like I would get so upset and annoyed and angry about it. And I'm talking anger here, right? Like so angry with myself, like why do I look like that? Why have I never seen myself looking like that before? When, as I said, angles are angles. Every angle is different. You need to get over it. Everyone will have their good angles and their bad angles and stuff, and they will like to have pictures taken from a certain angle. That's okay as well, but we just have to realize and think about the bigger picture here as well. You know, when we see professional photos, when we see models and stuff, those pictures have always been taken from the perfect angle. There were probably a million other bad shots or mug shots, we could say. Angles are angles. You look different from every angle. If you don't like one angle, that's fine. That's just one angle. Number 21 is a very random one, but it's something I've learned this year, but I wouldn't say this has really helped me. I've basically learned that I'm very confused about something, hence why I'm sitting here and I'm still very confused, because I feel like this year I've realized that I am very confused as to whether I'm a morning or an evening person or not, and I still don't have the answer. So if you're confused like me, you're not alone. The final two, so the 22nd thing I have learned is basically that hate comments are just not worth my time. Again, this goes back to kind of like the online stuff. But in the past, and there was a period in 2020, so last year, when I used to read a lot of hate comments and I used to really let them get to me. The things that you read and the hate comments are a bigger reflection of the person writing it, not yourself. I am so lucky that my YouTube community and my online audience, like you guys, are so positive, and I don't often see the hate comments. But as I said, if I see a hate comment, I will just delete it, maybe block the person and move on. There are so many other things I've learned this year, okay? But these are just some of the main things that came to my mind. And so the final one, so the 23rd thing I've learned this year is basically that, and it's related to hate. Hate comments are very different to criticism. I have learned to appreciate criticism. In the past, I have never taken criticism, especially when it's negative, very well. Even though now I kind of initially treat it as like a hate comment and I kind of get a bit defensive in myself. When I sit down and I process it, I'm like, you know, this person only wants me to improve or to better myself, and criticism is so necessary. A very good and a very recent example is, you know, when I posted my That Girl video, I tried to explain my thought process behind the That Girl concept, and I wanted to talk about social media in general. I obviously didn't cover everything in that video. As I said as well, I don't know everything, and a lot of you guys therefore left some really thoughtful comments on that video, and that's all not really criticism, but it's just you guys continuing the conversation. Criticism and hate, basically, they're not the same thing, and although sometimes it can be difficult, especially when you're just reading something online, it can be quite hard to draw the line and be like, is that somebody just hating? Or is it someone who actually cares? But as I said, I often just try and process it, and I'll come back to it, and then I will make a decision as to, you know, whether I want to reply and continue the conversation, or if it is just somebody hating. So those are my 23 things. I'm sorry if the lighting has kind of been slightly strange in this video. It is quite a dull day today in my room, so I kind of look very exposed. But I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, and as I said at the start, so my 23rd year of my life, which is kind of crazy to say, like I genuinely don't know, and I don't believe that I've been around for 23 years. But as I said, as a 23-year-old, I feel like I have grown. And for me, in this next chapter of my life, as you know, like a 24-year-old, I am looking for adventures. Big and small adventures. I am so excited to continue pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Like, I know what it feels like now to step outside of that bubble, you know? Nothing is gonna hold me back, nothing is gonna stop me. So we've now basically grown, and I am very ready for the adventures. I'm actually so excited. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell so you know when I upload. And as always, I will speak to you very soon in another video. Bye!